for being here on behalf of the family. I hope you guys can hear me. It's kind of difficult to talk in this mask. I'm going to do my best. We are here in memory of Virginia A. Gauna, born Saturday, January 23rd, passed on Thursday, January 24th, 2021. I'm sorry, January 14th. Thank you. Virginia was born in Adrian, Michigan, the daughter of Frank Gauna and Elena Leon Gomez. Virginia is survived by her daughter Annika Young, her grandchildren Paige Young, Jasmine Jones, Jalen Jones, AJ Marcus, Sebastian Brent Young, great-grandchildren Jaden Young, Annalyn Stevens, and Liliana Young. Her mother, Elena Gomez, siblings, Ernest, Louis, and Donna Gomez, Perry and Tammy Gomez, Celia and Phil Gomez Garrison, Lydia Sharp, Ava Brown, Lori and Kim Huang, Steve and Anna Gomez, Jehu and Maria Gomez, Belinda Gauna, and Frank and Wanda Gauna, and numerous nieces and nephews. She was preceded in death by her father, Frank Gauna, stepfather Ernesto Gomez, her son, Arthur Young Jr., two sisters, Dina Avila and Elizabeth Gonzalez, and one brother, Daniel P. Gauna. A poem was chosen to be read, and I will read that now. Remember me. Fill not your heart with pain and sorrow, but remember me in every tomorrow. Remember the joy, the laughter, the smiles. I've only gone to rest for a little while. Although my leaving causes pain and grief, my going has eased my hurt and given me relief. So dry your eyes and remember me now, not as I am now, but as I used to be. Because I will remember you all and look on with a smile, understand in your hearts, I've only gone to rest a little while. As long as I have the love of each of you, I can live my life in the hearts of all of you. I'm going to start with a small prayer and then scripture. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for being with us here today. We know that our beloved Aunt Virginia, mother, daughter, sister, friend, is with you, with her son right now. We ask that you would put the wings of the angels around each and every person in this room and every person watching via the internet and the live stream. We thank you for watching over us and being with us, protecting us and guiding us through this most difficult time. We thank you so much. I ask you to bless everyone here. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
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 The first scripture we are going to read is Psalms 23. It is a psalm of David, and it reads as follows. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He lead me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. It is the wish of the family that if anyone would like to come up and share some thoughts or words with everyone, at this time we would like to have you do that now. Even if it's a memory or a story, a small story from the past, the family would greatly appreciate hearing how Aunt Virginia impacted your lives. Anyone? Louis Gomez, her nephew.
How you guys doing? Her nephew from her brother Perry. I just wanted to share with you that my aunt, the meanest that aunt I've ever had the biggest heart. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd be a man that I am today. She was just always pushing to me to be better every time I see her.
Thank you, Louis. Would anybody else like to come forward? This is Virginia's brother, Stephen Gomez.
My sister always had the ability to rub it in my face. And when she was a teenager, and I was thinking 5 years old, that she saved my life. I'd had a temperature well over 102. She was babysitting me, and she didn't know what to do. She was trying to, back then when we just had landlines, she was trying to get a hold of people. Either lines were busy or she just couldn't get a hold of them. So she took me and threw me in the bathtub and just poured cold water on me. And she says, that's what saved my life. She did bring the temperature down. I'm proof here today because I'm here. And there was plenty of other memories, the Red Wings games, the just sitting there talking. Like Louis said, everybody considered her Aunt Minnie. She was my sister, and I loved her. She was the other bookend to this family, Dina being the first, and her being at the opposite end. She was Dina the youngest, and she was the oldest. And now we're pretty much on our own. Books flop over. Hopefully not. The day she passed, I told her before I seen her take her last breath to enjoy the ride home, to tell Dad, Dina, Arthur, and Tony that we love them. She's in a better place now. She's not here. She's not suffering. She's in heaven. She's got her wings. And I'm going to miss her. I do love her. And we love Annika and the kids, grandbabies, and great-grandbabies. We love them all. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to come and share a story or a memory? The next speaker we have is Jennifer Whipple. This is Virginia's niece, her sister Lydia's daughter.
Hola. Not the nicest occasion to me, but I will mess up this speech. Aunt Minnie. One day we were at Aunt Lori's house and she came out and said, "No, I'm mad at you." I said, "Why?" She said, "When you was a baby, you would let me pinch your cheeks." And she was right. She got on my nerves. But I loved her. And what I liked most about her was that she was a caregiver. And that's what I do for a living. And when she showed up anywhere, she was ready to cook. She was ready to be a part of the action, what she can cook, what she can do. And one day I was visiting my father and Roger Whipple, and my dad said, "Jen, what was that meal your Aunt Virginia and your grandma cooked?" I said, "Dad, you don't get to know those secrets. You a Whipple, and we a Gomez." And he smiled. So when she passed, I called to let him know, and I said, "Hey, one of your favorite beer buddies is flying." He knew already, but I wanted him to know because it was special to me that we can all remain family because we love each other. And I'm going to miss Aunt Virginia. And I was sorry that I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. However, I'm happy to present this speech and say that I thought Aunt Virginia was like drop dead gorgeous, knocked out. Even though she pinched my cheeks and it got on my nerves, I really loved her laugh and the way she would tease us. And she was critical because she cared. And sometimes that's how people express themselves. So you had to like weed out and that stuff to get to what she really was, which is about family. You know, I don't think anyone's going to get the recipes right though. So that's it. I love you, Aunt Virginia.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come share? The next speaker we have is Anna, which is Virginia's sister.
My full name is Evangeline Brown. It's known as Eva. You also know me as Funky. My brothers and sisters could not say my name in Spanish, which is Evangelina. So they come with Funky. Memories I know of Virginia. Being the oldest. She used to take care of us. I found my grandson by means of my sister Virginia. He met his mother at the apartment complex they were living in. And that's how I met Taylor by means of my sister. I knew there was a grandson out there, just didn't know where he was. And I met him. He came in my life when he was 3 years old. He's here today. Thank you, Taylor. My other grandson couldn't be here. He was sick. And he knew his Aunt Virginia by means of his mother. They used to work together in the nursing home. I shared a room with Virginia. She lived up in the attic. Hated living in the attic. She'd come home and she'd wake me up to make me rub her back or itch her back. I hated that. Dead sleep, wake me up. Her brother Ernie couldn't be here. Remember, he has a Virginia's. She was carrying a pan of beans over to the table. and the handle gave way and the whole pan of beans fell into his lap. He jumped out of his pants so fast. I'm sure you want to hear that, Ernie. She made the best tamales. Nobody can make tamales like my sister. And I used to test the hot tamales because I'm the only one that can handle hot as far as those girls concerned. I love hot tamales. Like I said, she made the best tamales. I know a lot of the nieces and nephews would call her at me, but I won't let my kids do that. I won't let them. That was very disrespectful, even though Nathan would call me up and say, Mom, Aunt Virginia's being mean to me. And I say, well, your aunt, you just give her respect. I love my sister. She catered my wedding. Best Mexican food, besides my mom's. I'm sure there's a lot of other memories. I can't think of them right now. But them are the top ones, making you be her back scratcher. I should have brought a back scratcher for her. Catering my wedding. And tamales. And Tabor, bringing him into my life. And Zach, and knowing her, all my grandchildren. She'll be greatly loved and missed. I miss her now. My other sister couldn't be here soon because she takes care of her daughter, and they can't get sick. I don't blame her. I have to work in a nursing home myself and get tested twice a week. So I know. Keep wearing your mask.
Would anyone else like to come and share an experience or a story? Alicia is not going to speak first.
Sorry. I can't do this without him next to me because of anxiety. The biggest memory that always sticks in my mind when I think about my Aunt Virgie is when she lived in the apartment in the Goldman's house. She used to make us meet us. She always had to make it separate from me because I'm a pain in the butt and I never liked all the extra stuff. I had to have it plain. I always missed having her breakfast with Nina and Antonetta. They're playing with us. That's all I have to say, but that's my biggest memory of Aunt Virgie.
I will say one or two things just because I feel like I really want to. I was married into the family. I've been around here for quite a while. And I've been to multiple family dinners and this and that, and it's been some of the best times, family-wise, that I've ever had. And that's not just like my family or this or that. Y'all have really taken me in. And I really appreciate that. Virginia was always there to, we all know she had her days, right? Sometimes she might kill you. Other times she might be your best friend. But it all depended on the circumstances and the day at the time. But she was always there to love you. She was always there to make sure that you were okay. So, thank you.
Would anyone else like to come up and share a story or a memory? When folks come forward and share their stories and memories, it helps the family have peace in their heart. My cousin Donnie. Love that.
So, I remember when I went to go stay with my mom, and Aunt Birch lived there too. And I remember taking a shower, and there was a back scrubber in there, and I used it to wash my back. And my mom had asked me if I'd used it, and I said, yeah. And she said, oh, that was Aunt Virg. And, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And everybody probably knows how much of a germaphobe Aunt Virg was. And so my mom had to go buy Aunt Virg a new back scrubber because I used hers. When Aunt Virg stayed with us, she used to get up in the mornings and she'd walk through the kitchen and, to go get coffee or whatever. And she'd have her slippers on, and she always drug her feet and did this shuffle. And me and Andrea referred to it as the Virg shuffle. And so remember a time when she lived there with us, and she left her window open one night while she was asleep, and it was late spring, early summer, and got a little chilly that night. And the next day, she was coughing a little bit, and Aunt Virg said something about how the night air must have made her sick. And I said, Aunt Virg, air doesn't make you sick, germs make you sick. And she's like, no, I swear, yeah, along with the germ thing. But there's plenty of other memories I remember from Aunt Virg, and everybody remembers what a great cook she was. We're all gonna miss her. She was love my Minnie.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come forward? Our next speaker is Pierre Gomez, Aunt Virginia's brother.
She was my older sister. Back then, she was my pain in my butt. But I was pain in the butt to her. One incident I recall is I worked at Wendy's, and I was 17. And I come home, and her and Arthur were out in the backyard, and I was talking to my dad. And I had said something to the, I must have had a bad day, and I said something bad to my dad. So I came in, she went upstairs, and she lived upstairs at the time. And so I went upstairs, and she got mad at me, and for talking to my dad that way. I can't remember what I said to her, but it was bad, and she hauled off and slapped me. I grabbed a hold of her, and it was a long flight of stairs, and she was pregnant with Arthur at the time. And I was going to throw her down the stairs. And she just kept saying, the baby, the baby, the baby. You know, so and it shook me back in my head, oh, you know. But down through the years, he was the best of friends. We did things together all the time. I was basically her tamale seller. She'd make them, and I'd take them to work, and I'd sell them to, you know, everybody. And even down through the years, they'd ask, is your sister going to make any more tamales? And, well, not anymore now, you know. Just the times we had together, the Redweeds games. At one time, she was living in Ypsilanti, and I remember my brother-in-law now, he was just my best friend, and we was always there. We always went up to her house, and she fed us all the time. We just always had a good time there. Every birthday, she would buy me a fifth of Bacardi rum for my birthday every year. You know, like I say, a lot of times that we had together, we had fun. This is the last time we really had fun together. It was downtown Adrian at the brick wall. Another buddy of mine he's a truck driver, but he lived in Texas, and he drove his truck up, and he came by, and he went down there, and she was there just, you know, we got some food, and she was drinking, and we was just having a good time. She gets up, goes into the restroom. Okay. Where's she at? What's going on? So I asked my wife, go see what's going on. So she went in the restroom, sitting there. Now she's not coming back, you know, what's going on? She comes out laughing and says, your sister got up and fell off the toilet with her pants down around her ankles, and she told me to come out and get you. I'm thinking, why me? You know? So I go in there, and I have my wife go in too, and I tried to pick her up because she was pretty like dead weight. And I just told her, pick your pants off, pick your pants off. So we get out, and it was funny to her. She just laughed her butt off. She was just laughing, so it's like, hey, we gotta take her home, you know. That's you know, no more, that's it. But like I said, she was my older sister, but she was the best because we were close. She would talk to me all the time, and I would talk to her. I'm gonna miss her. Every time I watch the Red Wings game, she'll be right there with me. So, thank you.
Would anyone else like to come and share a story or memory? This is Annika Young, Virgina Young's daughter.
So I kind of got a continuation to your story. So that night you guys got her all trashed, and you decided to go home and throw her in the bed and take off. Me and Selena was out, and we came home that night, and I seen, like when I walked in the door, I was like, somebody, she must not have flushed the toilet or when the door open. I walk around the corner, and as I get around the back by her room, I see her tables fell over, and my mom is laid out on the ground, and she like threw up, pooped her pants, and was just like laying there on the ground. I thought she was dead. We had just went and got some rallies and stuff. I was sick, and we got her up on the toilet, got her cleaned up, and she was just like, do I smell? I can't smell. And I was like, I'm gonna throw up. And I'm like, okay, well, Selena's helped clean her. We got her cleaned up and in the bed. And, like, I was so grossed out, I couldn't eat. And Selena's smashing her food. So my mom was just like, well, I'll eat your hamburger. And she ended up eating my food. My mom was a strong woman. She was a very hardworking woman. She didn't necessarily raise us in the church, but she raised us right. When we chose to take a left or a right, she did raise us the right way. I guess that's where I get most of my work ethic from, is my mom. And I remember I used to skip a lot of school, and it came down to the girls' trip to Florida, and my mom got to go, and all of her sisters went, and all the nieces and nephews, and I was still sitting at home. She actually left me with one of her friends. Like, we just gonna have to stay here because you didn't. I was, skipping school and stuff. I know that trip meant a lot to her, and when I think back, I know like how much, like the bond that she had with her brothers and sisters, and how much you guys really did mean to her. I hated the tamales. I hated rolling them. I hated the smell of them. And that was one thing that I probably should have got from her, was her recipe. She taught me how to cook. So some things won't die down. But I remember, like, at Christmas time, my mom used to make a big array of cookies. Like candy cane cookies, snowball cookies, snowman cookies. She was the baker. She kind of felt like she was the family keeper. I just want to thank everybody for coming and sharing a memory about my mom. She'll definitely be missed.
Would anybody else like to come share a story? This is Virginia Gauna's niece, Danielle.
Hi, everyone. So Aunt Virginia got her name Aunt Minnie because of me. I remember growing up, she would always get after me. I felt like she was tough on me, and she just always had the tea on everyone. You needed to know something, Aunt Virginia knew it. So growing up, when I got older, I called her Aunt Minnie, but she did soften up over the years. And, she was amazing. And I know everyone gives her credit for her tamales, but it was the potato salad for me. So I loved her potato salad. I remember at my baby shower, I asked her to make the potato salad, and she did. And back then I loved Cool Whip, so she made a special little potato salad just for me with Cool Whip in it. Is that right? Miracle Whip, not Cool Whip. Miracle Whip. I'm like, wait a second, that's not and I also remember at my baby shower, I had my grandma make the tamales and her the potato salad. And at the baby shower, she didn't like the tamales. They weren't her tamales, but yes, definitely the tamales, but potato salad for me. So I just want to make sure, she got the praise for her potato salad. And like you said, the cookies, it was the oatmeal cranberry cookies she made that I loved. So I'm going to need that recipe.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come and share a story or a memory? Our next speaker is going to be Alex. She's Virginia Gauna's nephew.
Hi. as everyone said, the tamales. My favorite were the hot ones, is because no one else in my family would eat them. So I'd always get a big bag of tamales. My mom would be another one of the dealers, along with the preparer. She would have this long list for Aunt Virginia of all her coworkers that wanted tamales. And when they came in, they were just like all in the freezer. It looked like a bunch of bags of drugs. But I always loved Aunt Virginia around. She'd always she was never mean to me. So I think I was part of the generation where I was too young to know Aunt meeting. The only thing that she would always be a stickler about was washing your hands. So now I guess I inherited that from her. But I really will miss her. It's sad that I didn't get to see her before she died.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come forward? Our next speaker will be Lori, Aunt Virginia's sister.
My mom couldn't be here today, but she's watching on the stream. She did get to visit her on Saturday. I made sure I took her there to visit with her on Saturday, so me and her were there with her. And I told her that it's okay to go and be at peace and go be with Arthur. So I guess she took my advice. But we're gonna miss her, and we love her. She's one of my Red Wing buddies. Now it's Natalie. You know, if I didn't have a ticket for her, she would get upset. Where's my ticket? I'm like, sorry, I can only get a couple. And somebody else wanted to go, so. But most of the time I would pick her. But over the years, she couldn't walk up the stairs anymore. So I'd say, just watch it on TV. So right now they're up 1-0. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to come forward? Our next speaker is Antonetta, which is Aunt Virginia's niece.
I have to say this off because I can't breathe. So everybody knows Aunt Virginia raised Nina and I. Nina's watching from home today, which is, I think, one of the most selfless things you could do. Is raise somebody else's children, which she spent the majority of her life doing. So I think we should all remember that about her, is just how selfish she really was. But it might have been for extra help to make tallies. Who knows? We'll leave that up for debate. But I just love her a lot, and she always believed in me. And I feel like I'm losing my mom again today, so that's what she meant to me. That's it.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come forward? The next speaker we have is Lydia Sharp, which is Virginia Gauna's sister.
Virginia picked up where Mama left off sometimes, most of the time. I love my sister Virginia. There was times when Mom and Dad had to, as a family, had to take me to the hospital and when we were younger. And when the rest of the children had to stay home, she would have to watch over them while they took me to year round. And it was very hard for the children as well as hard for me because I didn't want to be left at the hospital. And she would fill me in on what happened when I came back home. And I would kind of tell her what happened at the hospital. But she was like a second mom. That's what I felt for her. I loved her all my life like that. I always felt that kind of a love. And no matter what our relationship has been throughout our life, up and down, in and out, I loved her that much. So no matter how it went, I could always forgive her because she's my mom, my second mom. And that's the way it goes, you know. She picked me up when I was down, deliberately swung me around with my braids, you know, and who can say they got swung around with their braids by their older sister. And it was fun. It was fun. She made things fun. And then, I mean, sometimes she could be bossy. Get over here and rub my back. And I was the only one of her sisters that had to rub her back. But I did it because she, like I said, was like this mom to me. And no matter what, my heart will always love my sister Virginia like my mom. So that's what I gotta say. But now I thought I love you too.
Would anyone else like to come forward? Our next speaker is Jake Gomez, Aunt Virginia's brother.
I really don't have a speech or anything written out, but this will just come off my mind. We may not agree from time to time through our lives, in our family, even with my older sister, but still, we loved her. Life is very precious. And sometimes we totally forget about what are the most important things in life, is that we have each other. And when we're no longer around, it's totally different. So when you, with your family, your friends, appreciate what you have, because when the moment is not there anymore, it's something to really think about, you know. Like I said, we all have our differences, but still, it's something that we should cherish now and forever. To see what's really important is when we have our loved ones. I've never witnessed what I just saw, and that's something I don't wish upon anyone. Not even my worst enemy. But she had her, like I said, she had her ups and she had her downs, but still, she was there for us. She was like a second mother. You know. I remember when I was young, me and my brother Steve were upstairs on the second floor and 565 in the house of our parents. We were just telling jokes. And he had either a nickel or a quarter he had in his mouth. And the way we are, we tell jokes. And, you know, it was like that with me, Perry, and Louie, and Dave. And I said something, he laughed, and then the coin went into his mouth, and he got stuck. And he was like choking, and I didn't know what to do. I panicked. You know. And if it wasn't for Virginia, you know, being there at the time. So he was just holding his throat because he couldn't breathe, you know. And I just ran downstairs and everybody was right next to the TV, just watching TV or whatever. And I just blended right in with everybody else. Well, I can hear the stomps from upstairs going from the bathroom upstairs all the way down to the downstairs. As I saw him go by, you know, going toward the kitchen, my mother, father, and Virginia, and somebody else was over there. And she saw Steve was like gasping for air. She said, he's choking. She took him by the bottom of his legs. She whipped him up and she whacked him really hard in the head. You know, it's like, coin came out, you know. It's something you don't really think about until that happens. But that's when Perry, my brother, says, thank you for the gumball machine, you know. It's moments of memories. Those are memories of episodes that we have in our life. You know. I was always a person that was a happy-go-lucky. I did not have a backbone. I did not have a self. Because I thought everybody was peace, you know. How I was brought up, you give people a chance. No matter what. According to what I thought. There's one time where when I just got married to my wife. To this very day, she don't know about this. Everybody in this room is gonna hear it. But like I said, I love my sister, but she had her moments. And when she came across and I had to defend my wife, you know. And I never done that in my entire life. I never stood up for myself. This was at the park over there, and at the small park right next to where they have the pool, but it's on the opposite side.
Riverside.
Yeah, Riverside. And when I stood up to her, I went in the bathroom and I threw up. My nerves were shot. I never did that before. You know. Like I said, I love my sister. You know. We all go through life of changes. You know, we don't stay looking young. We get older. We mature. I thought I could never do factory. Look what I'm doing right now. I can do anything in that place. The sky's the limit. And you know what? I was my own worst enemy. I can't do it. I got tired of saying I can't. My father could have done the same thing, but he didn't have that ability to. He could have, but he didn't. And I said to myself, I was my own worst enemy. You know. Virginia, she pulled us through. She was like a mother, second mother. Like my stepsister, Crystal. When I first met my wife, she had a lot of ways like my older sister, Virginia. It's like, this is weird. It's like, I met somebody, you know, we lived in a house that had squirrels, that had walnuts. Now I'm back in the same boat. They got trees behind my house with squirrels and walnuts, packing walnuts in my shed, you know. But it's she's a lot like my sister, you know. To her own brothers and sisters, they look at her as a mother too, second mother. So what we have here, you know, your family and friends, we may not agree with one another, but still we try to get along. We try to oversee our shortcomings, because no one's perfect. But this will be a day to remember that we're all gonna miss her. Yeah, those tamales she made. Whoever has a recipe, please learn it, pass it on. You know, pass on what you have learned. There's no such thing you can't do anything. You know, such thing you can't move a boulder or whatever. You know, that's the only way you're gonna keep that memory alive. Just like my father, I still have the memory of him. As long as I'm alive, I have heirs in these lungs. Him, Dina, and Virginia, Arthur, and whoever I didn't mention, but still, it's like, life is very precious, and we should not take it for granted. We need to come together in peace. Some of us may have done things in our family, but still, we should not shut them out. As much as people in Bible times have made mistakes, done even worse, God forgave them, you know. Well, we're going to remember it for no matter what. That's all I have to say.
Would anyone else like to come forward? Throughout the last few days, being around different friends and family members, you got to hear different stories, different events, different memories people have had. I remember somebody had said that Virginia was the kind of person who spoke her mind. You were going to hear what she had to say, she was going to say it. There was nothing you were going to do or say to stop her from saying it. Even if that meant stepping on somebody's toe, she didn't care. I don't think I ever called her Aunt Minnie. Then again, I don't really ever remember her being mean to me. I'm sure I probably did stuff and got in trouble, as every kid does. But I have to agree with Danielle, sorry, potato salad is where it's at. Sorry for you tamale folks.
Right there.
Right there.
Potato salad.
Potato salad is where it was at for me. I'm right there with you. Remember one time we lived in Monroe. She came down to my parents' house and she said, "I'm going to teach you how to make barbecue sauce." And I said, "Okay, all right." I like cooking, so I said, "Are we going to put ketchup in it?" And she said, and I quote, "We ain't putting no ketchup in that. Ain't no ketchup in that." So we got all these ingredients, and she sat in a chair and she never measured anything. If you've ever cooked an bird, she does not measure anything. It's all by eye. So that was kind of hard for me to teach my girls when I got older because I was taught by eye. And when they go through home ec, they learn the measuring cups and tablespoons and all that. So they kind of looked at me like I was weird. Just keep adding more, just keep adding more. So Amber just sitting there, and I have the pot in front of me, and she'd say, pick that up and put that in. And I would go and look at her and just wait for her to tell me when to stop. We get down the line after we get all the seasonings and stuff. She breaks out a bottle of ketchup. I said, wait a minute, you said there wasn't no ketchup in this recipe. She said, well, that's not all that's in it. And it was some of the best barbecue sauce I ever had. It was a very sweet at first, and then you got that kick of heat. Needless to say, I only tried it once. It was a little too hot for me. If I ate the tamales, I was more of a mild person with the tamales myself. It was a little too hot for me. Her and my dad used to sit around and drink beers and catch up and hang out. I have another memory from when we went on the girls' trip. And we went down to Florida, and they had it was a timeshare, and they had these bikes that were like a boat. And you had to pedal to move the bike. And there was a lady there was going to try it too, and the people that ran the place were like, well, why don't we have a race? And I had wanted to try this bike. I didn't think I was going to have to race. So the lady says, well, I'll do it. And I was like, well, I want to try it. What do you mean race? How far we got to go? I mean, like, what is involved in this race? So you had to get on this bike, and Aunt Virg is over there. Come on, Tiff, you can do it. You can take her. You can take her. She's old. This lady was like 40 years old, and I was like 15. So she's pumping me up. Come on, Tiff, you got this. You can take her. You can take her. And I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. Okay, she pumped me up real high, let me tell you. So I get on this bike, and we got to go all the way down to a buoy, turn around and come back. And as I get on the bike, the guy's explaining that we have to go down and around and come back. And I thought, well, I can make it down there, but the coming back part's going to be hard. Because it was pretty far out there. And Aunt Virg was standing there just telling me the whole time, you can do this, you got this, you're going to beat her, you're going to crush her. Look at that old lady. Nobody told me that this lady was a former Olympian and she held a medal of some kind. I'm not sure which one, but it was either silver or bronze. And that she was an actual athlete. I'm a 15-year-old kid that just wanted to try the bike because it looked cool. Aunt Virg had me so pumped up right before they get ready to start. She said, you better not lose. And I thought, oh my gosh, I think for the first time in my life I'm going to be in trouble by Aunt Virg. Oh my gosh, got really nervous. So I stood up the whole time, never sat down on the seat. And I was pumping my legs as fast as my little body could go. And that lady, man, she looked like she was just taking it in stride. And I'm thinking, I cannot let this lady beat me because my Aunt Virg is never going to let me live it down. And then she's probably going to whoop me. So I'm pumping my legs and I'm going as fast as my little body can go. And at some point, this lady, she kind of went out a little wider so she could go around the buoy. And I thought, if I can get close to that buoy, like in a regular foot race, you take the inside lane. That was my thought process. So I'm taking the inside lane, and there ended up being like 2 other people, I think, that were in this race. And by taking the inside lane, she got caught up on those other 2 people. And I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I'm not going to get whooped, and I'm going to win. So we go around the buoy. We come back. We're almost to the end. My legs are like jello. I can't feel nothing from the waist down. They're screaming on the dock. That's our family, go Tiffy. Yeah. Aunt Virg was like, you got her, you got her. Little did they know that my legs were literally numb at this point. I couldn't move any further. And we get up to where the end of the race would be kept, which is a dock. And she got there just a few feet in front of me because I couldn't pump my legs anymore. I had no feeling. I couldn't breathe. My heart was pounding out of my chest. I got off the bike and literally just fell out on the ground on that dock. She came over, and I thought she was gonna kill me. I thought I was gonna, this is it. I'm going to meet Jesus. I'm dead. She looked at me and said, you did real good. You know that girl's an Olympian? She's an ex-athlete. And I was like, I can't breathe. She laughed. She said, you want to stand up now? I think I laid there for like 15, 20 minutes. I couldn't move my body anymore. And I don't think I'd ever gotten as far in that race if I didn't have Amberge cheering me on, telling me how great I was. I could do it. How I could beat an Olympic athlete. They thought it was great because I was pretty close. But I honestly was grateful for that memory because she pushed me really hard. And I probably would never even got close to almost beating this lady. There were some other stories that I heard. I remember Aunt Virginia used to tell us all the kids, we'd be all grouped together playing. And if any one of you kids ain't good, you're going to get the cookie. I remember that. And for years, I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was a cookie. So I was always really confused when I was young because I didn't understand what that was. Later they explained it was like leche placada. Now I know what that is. I just want to say, Amberge, I really loved you, and I'm going to miss you. Going to miss all the times we got to hang out. And we used to go on trips. They used to take us kids to Cedar Point or different events, and all those cousins would get together, and we had a really good time. I'd like to continue that tradition. Us cousins getting together with our kids, getting the families together. My favorite Christmas cookie was the snowball. All the way.
I got that recipe.
I'm gonna need that recipe. I know there was a couple times I had problems with different members in the family, just, not getting along, not agreeing, or not seeing eye to eye on something. She was always quick to tell me, try to work it out, try to communicate with them, try to talk to them, that they were still family, and family was very important. So every time I did try, kudos to you, Amberge, because you're the one that talked me into it. I probably wouldn't have done it otherwise. She impacted everybody in this room in some way, shape, and form at one point in time or another. She was loved by everyone here. She will be greatly missed. I would like to thank everyone now for showing up here on behalf of Annika, Paige, the kids. There is a dinner afterwards for everyone that would like to come. It's going to be at Maria and Jake Gomez's home at 3061 Hunt Road. That's in Adrian, Michigan. The phone number 517-902-5688. The pallbearers for today will be Uncle Perry, Uncle Steve, Uncle Jay, our cousins Alex, Louis, and Annika. Again, we want to thank everyone for coming out. We want to thank everyone watching via the internet and the live stream. Please keep the family in your thoughts and your prayers. I want to thank Annika for allowing me to speak. All right. Thank you.